Stability is almost always marketed as a win. It's supposed to be the ultimate sign that you've finally matured, that you've traded your impulses for a steady head. You find a decent job and a paycheck you can count on. Your schedule becomes predictable. Honestly, that logic makes sense. This is especially true if you grew up where instability was a genuine threat. Back then, losing your income meant more than just discomfort. It was a complete disaster. The script we were handed was simple. Hold on to what you have because risking it might leave you with nothing. For a long time, that worked. Stability acted as a shield and gave people a foundation to build on. The problem is, the world evolved. Stability no longer means progress. It used to be that a stable job guaranteed growth. It was slow, but the ladder was real. Your salary grew while your responsibilities matured. Over time, the pressure naturally eased. Today, that's rarely the case. Now, stability usually means fixation. It fixates your income. Your role stays the same, and your ceiling never moves. You reach a point where you know exactly what you'll be earning next year. You can see your life 5 years from now, and the picture looks exactly like today. It feels like control, but it's actually a trap. Stability is a pause masquerading as movement. The script won't tell you you're stuck. It tells you to be grateful. Gratitude is a powerful tool because it sounds like a virtue. It feels like the adult way to look at the world. But it's also the very thing that stops you from asking the questions that actually matter. When growth slows down, the nature of stability changes. It stops being a path and turns into a queue. And a queue is nothing but waiting. You aren't moving anymore. You're just standing there, hoping your number finally gets called. The script teaches you to cling to your spot. It makes you afraid of losing what you have. But the longer you stay, the more expensive it becomes to leave. This isn't because you lack strength. It's because your life starts to build up around you. You get used to a specific income. You build your daily routine around it. You take on obligations that you have to maintain. At some point, stability isn't a choice anymore. It becomes a survival condition. You aren't choosing it because you want it. You're choosing it because you depend on it. That's how the trap closes. It's slow. It's subtle. It's almost invisible. Stability becomes a requirement for survival. The script doesn't have an exit strategy. It only offers two extremes. You either stay exactly where you are, or you lose everything. It doesn't leave any room for middle ground. No experiments, no small steps, no right to fail. This is why most people stay put, even when they're exhausted, even when the work has lost its meaning. The script provides a rational explanation for everything. Age, responsibility, the timing isn't right. It sounds so reasonable that you stop questioning it. But underneath the logic, there is only fear. This isn't necessarily a fear of poverty. It's a fear of the unknown. Stability gives you an illusion of control over the future, even if that control is long gone. And the longer you live inside this logic, the harder it is to ask yourself the one question the script hates most. Stability doesn't become a trap when your life is falling apart. It happens when things are just fine enough to stop you from changing anything. It's a dangerous state of mind. It isn't a crisis, it's just tolerance. You tell yourself that things aren't perfect, but they aren't a disaster either. You look around and see people who have it much worse, and that thought becomes your anchor. The script doesn't need you to be happy. It just needs you to stay put. Over time, you start defending this stability as if it's your entire identity. You tell people you aren't a risk taker, or that you're just being a realist. These aren't lies, but they aren't the whole truth either. Most of the time, you're just afraid of a world where there isn't a pre-written plan. You are optimizing for survival, not for life. The script always has a reason why now isn't the right time. Your age, your kids, the market, your savings. Everything sounds so incredibly rational that it feels stupid to argue with it. Then years go by, and you realize you can't remember the last time you made a decision based on what you actually wanted, rather than what you had to do. You've stopped choosing. You're just reacting. Stability teaches you to live in defense mode. Don't fall. Don't lose. Don't make a mistake. And the longer you play defense, the more terrifying a single step forward becomes. You stop asking what you could gain and start obsessing over what you might lose: your income, your status, your image as a responsible adult. You are too competent at managing a life you outgrew. Eventually, a truly destructive thought sets in. It's too late to change anything. The script doesn't forbid you from changing. It just makes the effort look pointless. Why risk it now, after all these years? Why not just endure until the end? The hardest part isn't losing opportunities. It's losing the belief that you even have the power to choose. But even if everything stays the same, that in itself is a decision. If you live the rest of your life exactly like this, if nothing breaks but nothing grows, where do you actually end up? The script wants you to be predictable, but you might want something else. And that's where the real conversation starts.